What is up, piccolos and lats, kings and queens, friends and fiends? This is Locked into Lunacy, Season 1, Episode 4. We're covering Lunacy 66. Let's get into it. So to start the show, we have Mr. Anderson and James Storm fighting backstage, and it goes through the crowd and then to the ring. And throughout this thing, James Storm is beating Mr. Anderson like the whole time. It's pretty much one-sided until they get into the ring. They go all over the arena and into the ring. And then Mr. Anderson finally comes to life and starts fighting back and stuff. Not a bad opener. Mr. Anderson was first trying to apologize for last night, kind of trying to start a united front, probably against Matt Cross with James Storm. James Storm was hearing none of it. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff that I want to get into on this episode. There's an interview backstage with Big Al, and the interviewer asked for proof about her claims about Vince Russo and all that sexual harassment storyline that we all love so much. And then it turns out that somebody has taken a shit inside of Big Al's bag. Bum bum bum. Who could this mystery shitter be? Then we have Big Vito talking to the Brothers of Funstruction and congratulating them on their win of the titles. And Big Vito's like, hey, I used to know a guy back in the day that used to have a Twitch like that. Johnny 2 times. Very funny. Very funny stuff. And then there's like a skit where like he's like trying to shake Ruffo's hand or something, and a bunch of handkerchiefs come out, and he's like, you're gonna buy me dinner now for that. Juggalos, man. Juggalos are loving the Vito character. If you guys haven't seen the interview that Vince Russo did with Violent J outside of JCW Lunacy, just on his podcast, where they were both just kind of shooting out of character, good stuff. Vito came on that later on in character. Hi, how's it going? You like JCW Lunacy? But hey, have you seen that interview that Vince Russo did with Violent J, where Big Vito was on there, and he was fully in character? Oh, it's funny. You should see it. Hey, how's it going? Whoop whoop. Got some more people in here. Yeah, we just went over how James Storm and Mr. Anderson fought all over the arena, got into the ring, and did all that spiel, and then somebody took a dump inside of Big Al's bag. Big Vito talking to the Brothers of Funstruction. Then we got Jeeves and finding out that Caleb Conley is not going to be in his match tonight. And he comes out and he's fighting against Stephen Flo, and the loser gets the ring rat. Hey guys, if you don't watch JCW, you should, first of all. Second of all, if you do, then you know that there's an after show now that has Paige, aka the Ring Rat, and I haven't learned the other guy's name by memory yet, but they do a pretty good job, and they talk about the first episode. They're really talking a lot about how the Ring Rat character came to be, and how the girl that plays her, Paige, all the hurdles that she had to go through. She was sick in a wheelchair, and then she's was able to get over that and go to JCW and start, being able to do some bumps again and stuff. Yeah, Stephen Flo wins. So of course Jeeves gets the ring rat, and then they have to go backstage together. Jasmine lures Vito into a trap set by the Outbreak. And then we got a taped promo for Disco Ray. The Outbreak trap is going to come into play later. Disco Ray, I'm interested in seeing him. We got a little bit of him in the 6-man match the week prior. Vito comes to bone Jasmine, but the Outbreak get him, and Barnabas says to Jasmine not to look for Vito. So they basically grab him and they tie him up in a shower, and then later they're gonna have Cocaine come in there with a bat and kind of have his way with him, beating him, just basically getting revenge on Big Vito for all he's done in JCW. And the Outbreak, they're trying to get their tag team titles back. So they're just gonna bully everybody until they make it happen. And then we got a match with the Monster Corps, possibly unaware of everything that Jasmine's been going through, against the Brothers of Funstruction for the titles. It's a 3-on-2. We got Mr. Happy, Beastman, and Congo Khan taking on the 2 members of the Brothers of Funstruction. And then Brothers of Funstruction are able to pull it off. They get attacked afterward. No, they leave. They leave the match, and there's like a disagreement between. And then we see Too Tough Tony and Willie Mack coming out from the state. It's coming out of the fans because last week they were suspended, but this week they're coming out as fans and taking a little vigilante justice upon the St. Clair Monster Corporation. And then we got the follow-up with Big Al. Big Al comes to the ring, and she knows it's Haley J's dog, Stormy, that took a shit in her bag. And she's not very happy about this. And she says that Haley J has to fight her in a dog collar match. And if she doesn't go through with it, she's going to be fired. They get the dog collar chain on Haley J. And then Big Al doesn't put it on herself and just beats her up and stuff. And but Danny Moe comes out to save her. So it's very interesting. Last week we had Vince Russo all over every single storyline. He was out there making sure that the faces fought fair, but he kind of seemed like it didn't matter what the heels were doing. So he's kind of playing the heel. This time he's largely, we'll see him a little bit later in one segment, but Vince Russo largely out of the picture on this one. Very interesting. I don't know if they're ever going to explain why that is, why he's so out of the picture in this episode. The Outbreak have him tied up in the shower, and then have Cocaine go and attack him with the bat. And then they go speak to Vince Russo. And they go to look for Vince Russo, sorry. And then we got a taped promo for PCO is coming. Man, this PCO guy, he looks super hardcore. We see him in this, mostly in this promotion called Maple Leaf Pro in Canada. But we just see him doing all kinds of putting guys through tables and hitting them with light bulbs and stuff. This guy's going to be a beast when he shows up in JCW. I cannot wait. We got the first of the best out of 3 series for the American title with Ninja Mac versus Facade. And we got Ninja Mac winning the first match of these 3-match series. I'm honestly surprised that Ninja Mac won the first one. That makes me think that Ninja Mac is going to win the whole thing. I think whoever I think whoever would win the first one would go on to win the whole thing. Because you can't have Facade win twice in a row, right? So he's going to have to win the middle one now, and then Ninja Mac's going to retain in the end. That's just my prediction. Otherwise, you got Ninja Mac looking pretty weak if he loses twice in a row. I think you could have had Ninja Mac, or you could have had Facade win. If you had Facade win the first match, and then the second match we had Ninja Mac win, then the third match could have gone either way. But I feel like now we either know that Ninja Mac is going to lose the title and look completely weak next to Facade, which that would be dumb if that was the case. So it must be that Ninja Mac is going to win twice. I don't know. That's not very good either, because you want this best of the three to definitely go to 3 matches. So we're either going to have, the only thing they can do pretty much now is have Ninja Mac win twice in a row, or have Facade win twice in a row. Either way, it's a bad idea. They should have had Facade win the first one, in my opinion. Then we have the Outbreak and Barnabas talking to Vince Russo. He's basically saying, look, the Brothers of Funstruction have had their match. They're out of the building. You're not getting your titles match this week. And and Barnabas is basically like, whatever happens to Big Vito now, it's on you. And Vince Russo's like, I wash my hands with what happens to it. But man, Vince Russo, even when he shows up for this one segment, he's largely not using his power. We're so used to seeing Russo, like, as a character, like, abuse his power to the fullest, I feel like, and be involved in just about everything. Like, he's involved in the story throughout for, like, as long as he's been on JCW, you know, actually on TV kind of thing. But now he's kind of taking a back seat in this whole thing. And I'm just wondering what happened that week, you know? But it's interesting that we finally see all this finally happen to Big Vito. And so we got another match with Madman Pondo versus Mosh Pit Mike, with Vampiro on commentary. Vampiro on commentary is always freaking awesome, man. And then we got Mike wins this time, but then Pondo attacks him afterwards. But then we got Too Tough Tony and Willie Mack coming to the rescue again. So this is awesome. Yeah. If this was last week and they tried this, Vince Russo would have came out and been like, hey, you're suspended again or something, you know? So very different Vince Russo this time around. Jasmine looks for a way to free Vito, and Vito says Russo's a dead man, and she leaves him, and he's like, don't leave me and stuff. Then we get the blast from the past, which was a flashback back to the old Slam TV days, 2007 Bloody Mania. We have Nosawa and the Great Muda take on Too Tough Scorpio and Just Incredible. And I'm pretty sure we see Great. It was a little bit confusing because it said that Nosawa was out or something, but then they also showed Great Muda picking up the victory. So I think what happened was that Great Muda and Nosawa won the match. We got the main event, which is Caleb Conley versus Kerry Morton. And which is pretty interesting for a minute to see which one would win between the two, which one the crowd hates more. We've been having a lot of face versus face matches. We've been having a lot of heel versus heel matches kind of thing. I feel like you don't really see that in other promotions as much as you do in JCW, and that's really interesting to see here's two guys that the fans are supposed to both hate. Okay, let's see who gets over and who gets heat between the two of them. Or here's two guys that are baby faces. Let's see who the crowd loves more. I think that's something that a lot of promotions just aren't doing. Um, the old rule is you have to put a baby face and a heel together at all times. And no, man. I think these kind of matchups are more interesting at times. Don't overdo them, but they definitely can be interesting. But it's all ruined by another heel coming out, Matt Cross, and attacking Kerry Morton. He does like that diamond cutter thing. And then Caleb Conley is able to get the victory. But it doesn't mean anything because this was supposed to be like a tournament match kind of thing for a chance at the title. But Vampiro kind of squashes all that when he announces. Well, first of all, he announces that Maj Pit Mike is going to have a surprise coming next week, which I'm really worried, scared for whatever could be in store for Maj Pit Mike. But next week, we're going to have a triple threat match. James Storm versus Mr. Anderson versus a mystery opponent, which I can only imagine must be Matt Cross. But anyway, those three. And the winner will face and get a chance for the JCW title that night, later that night, against Matt Cardona. Man, I've been really disappointed that the last 2 weeks, ever since Matt Cardona became JCW champion, that we've seen it on JCW TV. I realized that this actually happened like a month ago, and he's in WWE now. But I really wanted to see this Ninja's title run, and we haven't got to see him on JCW for 2 straight weeks. So, I mean, it's advertised that he's going to be on this JCW. I really hope we get to see him. I hope it's awesome. Who would you guys want to win in a triple threat match? Let's pretend that the third guy is Matt Cross. Who would you guys want to see win in that situation? I guess I would kind of be rooting for Matt Cross if that was the situation, because I really want. But here's the thing about that though, and with Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, Matt Cross, and Matt Cardona are all heels. Do you really want a heel versus heel JCW title match at this time? I just feel like the audience might be more, it might be more over to give it to James Storm. We know how popular he is with the Juggalos, and how much love he has for the Juggalos kind of thing. I don't know. What do you guys think? What'd you guys think of Lunacy number 66? I should have put my green screen on, had a cool background, but didn't do that. I'm just doing this live from in my shed. Hey, bro. How's it going? Boop, boop. Yeah. So, let's see. Can we talk about anything else before we gotta go? Like I said, that interview with Vince Russo and Violent J was pretty dope. It was last week, though. Is there anything extra we can talk this week? Honestly, I haven't finished watching the after show with Paige and that other guy. I think it's Mac or something. Yeah, but as much as I've watched of it, it was just Paige the Ring Rat talking about her journey and becoming where she is now and stuff like that. That's really interesting whenever you can get an out of interview, wrestling interview, I think, with a character, especially one in a company like this where you really want it to succeed and be the next big alternative wrestling promotion. Well, guys, that's been Locked into Lunacy episode 4. This will be up sometime tomorrow as a YouTube video. You can peep the other episodes or any of my other videos on my YouTube channel. Check it out, and whoop whoop. Hope you guys have a great night. Happy Martin Luther King Day, guys. Hell yeah. Celebrate equality. All right. Have a good night. Peace.